3776. The Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch and save pay an average of $699 less per year. As promised, on the line with me right now is NBA insider and analyst extraordinaire, does a great job for ESPN. You can see a lot of times on The Jump on ESPN, hosted by Rachel Nichols. Obviously, you can catch her on SportsCenter. You certainly can see her work written all over ESPN.com and specifically ESPN LA. The one and only Romana Shelburne is on the line with yours truly right now. Good morning out there. Good afternoon out here. Ramona, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
First of all, are you okay? Because you gotta go back and forth between the Clippers and the Lakers, and even though they both play in the same arena, their offices ain't in the same arena. What's life been like for you with this Kawhi Leonard watch?
Man, it's interesting because the way that both franchises are behaving throughout this whole process, and I would say the whole season, but really it's been since the end of the season, and they both started focusing in on free agency. Is almost reflective of their pitch to Kawhi, and it's going to determine whatever he wants, right? Like the Clippers, in a way, are trying to position themselves as the blue-collar, hard-working, no-drama franchise, and the Lakers are have Magic Johnson and LeBron James out in front, trying to close pitch and showtime like they always do, and it's almost against the grain for them to be pitching to try to keep things with no drama, but that's the Lakers' effort so far. And I actually think they've done a fairly decent job of controlling the leak. The only guy who's really kind of been out there publicly is Magic, and that's because he's allowed to, and also it's his essential nature. But nobody really knows what Kawhi Leonard is going to want, because I don't think anybody knows how this championship affected him, right? Everything you would think, covering him, profiling him, knowing him, reading him, leading into this free agent process, everything might not be what it seems, and we'll find out in the next couple of days, obviously, when he makes his choice.
Ramona, when we think about the Toronto Raptors, they are the reigning defending NBA champions right now. We look at a guy like Kawhi Leonard, who was the NBA Finals MVP and well-deserved. In the same breath, ESPN even out. I mean, you got to have DirecTV. ESPN ain't even aired in Canada, for crying out loud. They got TSN, for crying out loud. You got one of them situations. If your New Balance, the sneaker company, the sneaker company he's got to deal with, they would like him. From all the reports that you hear, that they would love him in LA. Talk to us about Kawhi Leonard and his Southern California roots and how palpable that is in all of this for a second. So
Kawhi Leonard is from Southern California, but it's not like he's from Santa Monica, okay? He is from the Inland Empire, went to school out in Riverside. So that's about an hour and a half east of downtown Los Angeles. And it's a little like Paul George. Paul George was from Palmdale, which is like an hour and a half north and east. So these are suburbs of Los Angeles. And he doesn't live in Los Angeles. Anthony Davis lives out here in Westlake Village. That's where Charlie Sheen lives. That's a little bit north of where the Kardashians live. Kawhi Leonard, he lives in North County, San Diego, which is not that far actually from. It's not that far from where he grew up. If you're going from Riverside down to San Diego, that's not that long of a drive. But it's not L.A., and I think that's the most important part. It's not L.A. He would have grown up watching Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, and my understanding is he's a pretty big Kobe Bryant fan. That was his guy growing up, but that's kind of his MO. It's not necessarily it's not like he grew up like Baron Davis here in the heart of the city, or Russell Westbrook. So I think the LA of it all is more about his family, and everyone I knew from Kawhi's side, going into this, if you're around him, he has a big family. He's close with a lot of people. That was the whole impetus for wanting to be in Los Angeles. He's a family guy. He wants to be around everybody. But again, a couple of things happened at the end of the season that I think threw a lot of people off and a lot of plans off, which is namely they won. Kawhi Leonard won. And, we don't know how that's going to affect him. What does he have to prove? I mean, the profile in Kawhi was he wanted his own team. He wants to compete against the best. He's more of that Giannis Antetokounmpo type, the Kobe Bryant profile, which is you don't join the Super Friends team. You go against them and you dethrone dynasties. But he's now done that twice. and he's got a body that really needs to be managed for 60, 70 games every year.
I got you. But if that's the case,
Yeah.
Ramona, how did L.A., even once they got LeBron, become in the sights? Because remember, he was in San Antonio, and his preference was to get traded to the L.A. Lakers. It wasn't until he arrived into Toronto that we started hearing more about the Clippers. So how has it come to a point where right now we're looking at the Los Angeles Lakers, and for the longest we thought it was going to come down to Toronto and the Clippers, but now the Lakers are in the mix in a significant manner. How did that happen?
So I think that's the most interesting part of this is that a couple of weeks ago, Stephen A., I literally laughed at one of my producers who was pushing the Laker option. I was like, come on. Everything that you know about Kawhi Leonard is that he wants to beat LeBron, not join LeBron. And we might be wrong. Like, that profile, that idea that we thought we knew about him, that might be wrong. And it's kind of surprising, but my understanding is we would not be in this position with Kawhi Leonard talking to the Lakers, seeking information about the Lakers, if he wasn't cool with LeBron. LeBron has been recruiting him hard this entire time, and he has respect for him. It's surprising, right? Because you think that you understand somebody, but maybe he's changed. Maybe he's not what we all thought he was. And frankly, like, if there's one guy that we can say maybe he's not who we thought he was, it would be Kawhi Leonard, because he doesn't say anything the whole time.
We're talking to Romana Shelburne right here with Stephen A. on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. The name Magic Johnson still comes up, and here's the deal. Magic Johnson resigned abruptly on the night of the season finale inside the Staples Center. We all know that story. Thereafter, he comes on national television on First Take and accuses Rob Pelinka of betraying him, validating reports both you and I and others alluded to on several occasions leading up to his public acknowledgement of that situation. Jeannie Buss says she needed to be more firm with her decisions, can't be everybody's friend, can't be everybody's family member. Thereafter, the Lakers acquire Anthony Davis, and just a few days ago, when Kawhi Leonard was contemplating his future, we learned that he wanted to speak to the Lakers, but it was going to be Jeannie Buss and Magic Johnson before the league informed the Lakers that Magic Johnson would not be allowed to be in the meetings. With all of that stuff that has happened, one would ask, do you think Kawhi would have already committed to the Lakers if Magic Johnson was still in his position? And Magic Johnson not being in that position, what kind of damage, if any at all, do you think that does to the Lakers in this situation?
Well, my understanding, and I talked to Magic the other day on when he said Kawhi had reached out and wanted to connect with him, and then again over the weekend after they spoke, was, he's been very involved with Kawhi ever since he stepped down. Okay, this is a relationship that Magic has nurtured. And I don't know if it's directly with Kawhi or with Kawhi's camp, but I think Magic plays a role in this, in that he seems to be the one that Kawhi's camp wants to lean on and trust and get information out of. I don't know if that's, literally it's Magic Johnson and that's who you talk to, that's who you trust, or if maybe him stepping down and saying, I'm going to give you the real. Okay, I'm a Lakers fan, but obviously I stepped down because I had issues with Rob. It's kind of hard to say if that's going to help or hurt him yet until we know if he decides, okay? But he clearly relies on Magic and his opinion. He values his opinion. He sought it out. And Magic is, probably the best person I've ever seen in a room, but you're pretty good in a room too, Stephen. I've seen you work a room when we do upfront presentations and all of that. But Magic's pretty darn good at working a room. So, if anyone could overcome that obstacle, it might be him. The understanding I had after speaking to him the other day, after his message and what he tells Kawhi and his camp about the Lakers, is simply, you have to develop a relationship with Jeannie Buss, and that Magic's always going to be the big brother. If anything, Magic's probably more free to be the big brother and be involved now because he can say a lot more when he's not in this role. But you've got to feel good about the organization and your relationship with ownership in order to make a leap like this.
Where do the Clippers go in all of this, Romana Shelburne? Because I say that to you in all honesty with this in mind. The Clippers have always been of the mindset, as you well know, that there's no way in hell Kawhi is going to pick them over the that's going to pick the Lakers over them. They believe they're the better organization. They believe his personality is of such that he would certainly prefer them as opposed to the circus kind of atmosphere that some people may deem existing with the Los Angeles Lakers. That has never been his MO. That doesn't appear to be the case. It doesn't appear to be on the money, but he hasn't made a decision yet, and the Clippers seem very firm and confident and resolved in their belief that he would pick them over the Lakers. If he were not to pick them, it would be because of the Raptors, not the Lakers. What do you make about the Clippers' position in all of this?
It's fascinating, right? It's a fascinating case study in personality because they are so convinced that who they are is the perfect fit for who Kawhi Leonard is. What we just don't know is how winning that second championship in Toronto changed him. Did it change him in a way where he says, you know what, I've got to run it back with my teammates and defend our title, in which case he passes on that LA option? Did it change him in the way where he says, I got to load manage myself for the next 4 or 5 years, and what better place to do it than with LeBron James and Anthony Davis? We can be the all-load management team. We can all play 65 games a year because there's 3 superstars there. Like, everything that you thought you knew about Kawhi is kind of on the line with this decision right now. And the Clippers are very firm in their belief that they got the right pitch and the right way of going about it, that Doc Rivers in that room, that Doc Rivers as his coach is going to be amazing. He'll trust Steve Ballmer, that Jerry West will be involved here. But it comes down to how well do you know Kawhi Leonard? And I'll tell you, anybody who tells you they know Kawhi Leonard is fooling you, right? Like, who really knows him? Just a couple of people who work out with him, who know him day to day. Maybe Jeremy Castleberry, who's like his best friend, who sits with him after every game. He's on the Raptors staff.
Yeah.
I guess they know him. But when you're on the outside and you think that you know him, you're just forecasting. You're just guessing. And the only way we're going to find out who he really is and what he cares about the most is when he finally decides. Because there's 3 very distinct choices. It's go be the man in L.A., go be the man in Canada, or go join the super team with LeBron and AD.
Romana Shelburne right here with Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. If the Clippers don't get Kawhi, considering their recent success, 48-34, first round of the playoffs, the Lakers having missed the playoffs the previous 6 years, none of us anticipate that with LeBron and AD that they're going to miss the playoffs this upcoming season. It almost seems like, I mean, if the Clippers don't get a star now, I think it definitely devastates them. What's your thoughts about that?
You know, they had 3 stars. They had Lob City, and I've thoroughly enjoyed this version of the Clippers more than Lob City. I mean, I wanted to enjoy Lob City. I wanted Blake and Chris and DeAndre to get it rolling, and it was fun for a minute. But then they all started turning on each other, and it got toxic, and they were complaining all the time. And like last year, they were like one of the most likable teams in the NBA. So if they don't have that star, you just keep on that same path you've been on and be the team that pushed the Warriors to 6 games in the first round. It's not what they were planning on. They were gearing up to try to finally get that star who has a great team built around him. But they competed their butt off last year. I mean, that was a team that should have tanked the last 2 years, and they didn't. And it was fun to watch. So, like, I don't know if it devastates them. Maybe it devastates Steve Ballmer because he's the one who put a lot of time and resources into it. But Doc Rivers was saying that was the most fun he ever had coaching. I mean, that was the most enjoyable team he's had. So I think they'll be all right. It's just, when you work hard for something and gear up for this one spot for 12 months and don't get them, I mean, we'll see if they get them or not. But that would be disappointing. But I think they're positioned both emotionally and on the court pretty well.
Well, the reason why I bring that up is because the Clippers had the luxury of succeeding while the Lakers were failing.
That's
but
right.
You don't expect the Lakers. It's a totally different animal if the Lakers are successful.
Yeah. Well, look, it's kind of like USC and UCLA out here. UCLA is the basketball squad, and USC is the football squad. So there was a minute there where USC football was down, and Jim Mora Jr., remember when he came out and said, we run this town? And it was like, okay, let's see. Here's your chance because USC is down. This is your chance to kind of take over LA and claim it, and they never could. They never got there. And if anything, the sanctions are over. USC's had trouble hiring a coach, yes, but, like, it's still the USC football town. UCLA is always still in the background. And that's just kind of how it goes in certain markets, right? It's like the Mets and the Yankees, it's the Angels and the Dodgers. And when you're the little brother in this equation, when you're the Clippers to the older brother Lakers, like, you only got a couple of shots. Like, I thought Lob City could have done it. Kobe was on the down slope of his career. Lob City could have broken through and won some championships. They didn't do it. So now, you know, if you don't get it done this summer, LeBron and AD they're gonna run for a while now.
Here's a fair question to ask you, because you do a great job covering the NBA. You go to an awful lot of games. You're actively involved with a lot of things. What would you, and I know it's putting you on the spot, but I'm going to ask anyway, what would you prefer to see? A dominant, lopsided team loaded with Kawhi, LeBron, and AD? Or Kawhi competing against LeBron in L.A. with the Clippers?
Oh, that's a good question, because for a long time, I wanted to see Kawhi on the Clippers competing against LeBron. I thought that would be an amazing head-to-head matchup. Because LeBron has had some great head-to-head matchups over the course of his career, right? LeBron and KD, LeBron and Kobe, but we never really got that LeBron and Kobe showdown in the finals like we wanted, right? So I like head-to-head matchups, but I also, as a journalist and somebody who covers these teams, I root for chaos. I like the circus. So putting three superstars on one team like that and then seeing what happens, that's going to be fascinating.
Well, see, for me, you know why I prefer Kawhi with the Clippers than the Lakers?
Huh?
Because I get 81 great nights of basketball a year at the Staples Center instead of 41.
True. It's a great question. Like, I like the Clippers and their organization. I really like a lot. Doc Rivers to me is one of the great men in this league, and I love dealing with him and the team. I love what they did.
Yep.
So, like, there's a part of me that kind of wants to see that rewarded by doing everything right, positioning yourself to be a first-class organization, making the necessary moves, competing instead of tanking. I want to see that rewarded. But then there's a part of me that roots for the drama, too. That's kind of terrible to say, but that's our business, isn't it? We root for the drama.
That's right. Ramona, before I let you get on out of here, just a couple of more questions. Now that KD is in Brooklyn instead of Golden State, and Kyrie is in Brooklyn instead of Boston, how are we to view those two players as of right now, in your estimation?
I'm kind of like with you on this one, Steven. You on the jump, like it would have been cool to see him at the Garden. It would have been cool to see him at Madison Square Garden, right? Just try to take a shot at changing things around for the Knicks. I also would have liked to see how many rings Kevin could win in Golden State. If you want to be in that conversation with Jordan, like, you got to get moving. You only got two, so there's four more to go. And like that Warriors team, they left two on the table in a way, and now who knows if they'll ever get back to that spot again. So how do we view both players? Kyrie looks like they're gone from place to place. Like, to me, Kevin and Kyrie are very similar people in that they're both kind of wanderers. They're both kind of seekers. They haven't really planted their roots down anywhere and grown. I thought Kevin was going to do that in Golden State. I thought Kyrie was going to do that in Boston. So this is, to me, the referendum on both of them of, like, are you a team guy, or are you just going to float? Are you just AAU going to float from team to team? I mean, Kevin went to 3 different high schools. He's on, like, his 3rd or 4th different agent. Like, at some point, and I'm going to steal words right out of Kobe Bryant's mouth, and this is what he said to Dwight Howard when he was trying to convince him to stay in L.A. At some point, you just have to plant your roots and grow. Like, the grass is going to be greener on every other side all the time. And so, wherever you go is going to be new problems. At some point, pick your spot. So I hope this is their spot. I hope they grow together. I hope they win. Right. I've enjoyed covering both of them, but, like, at some point, you just can't keep switching teams. Well,
how are we to look at the New York Knicks in light of the fact that two megastars that are champions in the NBA picked Brooklyn over Broadway?
I know. Look, they read this wrong. They didn't think Kyrie had as much sway on this, and I think they thought Kevin would make just his own decision, but they read it wrong. Like, I've heard all along that Kevin wants to play with his friends, and underrated in all of this is his friendship with DeAndre Jordan, his friendship with Kyrie. Like, those guys got together at Team USA, They are really close. They talk all the time during the season. They hang out in the summers in LA. Like the Knicks read was they